This year, we're proud to present a special award, the Walter Camp American Hero Award for 2015. Here now, please welcome Walter Camp Football Foundation Treasurer, past President, Mr. Bill Raffone. Billy.
Frank Hall is a high school football coach from Ohio who dedicates his life's work to mentoring teenagers. His mantra is simple: how would I want my kid to be treated? And he acts according to his principles. But he's more than a coach, more than a mentor. He is a big man with a big heart. We all remember that early morning study hall in the high school cafeteria. Well, today, those days are not really the same anymore. Please watch and listen as Scott Paley of CBS tells us the story of our 2015 Walter Camp American Hero.
So much time has passed, and still, no one in Chardon, Ohio knows why it happened. In February 2012, they'd been marking the inches of Lake Erie snow and counting the days till the tapping of the maples. Forbes had said that this was the 4th best place in America to raise a family, and many of the 5,000 in Chardon credited the high school, ranked excellent 13 years in a row.
911, what is your emergency?
This is Chardon High School calling. We need assistance right now. There's a student with a gun.
At 7:35, the call came from the principal's office. There, teacher Tim Armelli heard shots down the hall.
You knew that the shooting was what it was. Your head's telling you there's shots. Your heart's not believing it. You freeze for a moment. You don't think you're going to see your wife or kids again.
You got onto the school PA and said what?
Lockdown. Teachers go to lockdown.
In the cafeteria, through the door on the left, a 17-year-old boy who went by the initials TJ was shooting to kill. He'd put 10 rounds in his gun and 6 letters across his shirt. Killer, it said.
I saw a young man firing into a crowd. I just stood up, shoved my table out of the way, and started after him.
It's tough, even now, for Frank Hall to speak of it. But with the support of his wife, he told us what happened when he charged at the boy with the gun.
He raises his weapon at me. I jump behind a Pepsi machine. I hear another fire.
That bullet missed Hall, so he kept chasing the student down the corridor.
And he sees me, and he takes off down the hallway. So I chase after him again, screaming, yelling. Kid's still running, and I get to within like 6, 7, 8 feet of him. And there was a young man at the end of the hallway, right in front of the doors, Nick Wassel, and TJ shoots him in the back.
I was shot once in the spine. That paralyzed me, and that's when I went down.
What do you remember seeing or hearing of Coach Hall in those moments?
He said, as he was running by me, he said, hang tight, I'll be back.
Pursued by Hall, the shooter ran without loading the second magazine that he carried with 10 more rounds.
Then I chase TJ out the doors, and I lose him in the parking lot. And 47 seconds. From the first shot till he exits the door, it's 47 seconds.
Hall ran back to the cafeteria where Daniel Parmertor, Demetrius Hewlin, and Russell King were not going to survive.
You just knew that it wasn't going to end well. You know, so I just asked God to be in this place with us and to be with them. And then I went around and I tried to comfort him the best I could. And Demetrius had a long tear on his face, and I wiped it and tried to make Danny and Russell as comfortable as I could. They were still breathing. They were trying to fight. And, you know, what was only a couple minutes seemed like forever waiting for the paramedics and law enforcement. It was tough.
But those boys needed somebody to be with them.
Yeah, you know, I'm so thankful. Very thankful that I could be there.
The emergency plan, in essence, is to get all the kids out of the hallways, get them all into rooms, lock those rooms, and shelter in place.
Correct.
Frank didn't do that.
He didn't. He acted as a father. You know, he acted as someone that was those kids' parents while they're away from home.
There's nothing in the plan that says assistant football coach chases gunmen through the school.
You know, you just think about getting him out of your room, you know, get him out of your area.
And you did that. You got him out of the cafeteria, but you kept going.
I just reacted that day. I just, you know, he was hurting our kids, and that's all I did. I just reacted.
As soon as you're staring down the barrel of a gun, you just kind of, you take off.
Death missed Nate Mueller by less than an inch. A bullet tore through the top of his ear.
And for him to be a teacher and to put himself in harm's way to chase him out of the building for kids that were just students in his cafeteria is amazing.
He never thought of you as just students.
No.
No, we were his family.
When it was all over, Hall texted, "I'm okay," to his wife, Ashley. But she didn't know what he'd done until he came home.
He said he was sorry that he had put himself in that situation, and that, you know, he realized that he could have been shot, and that would have left us without a husband and without a father.
There was a lot to leave behind. Ashley works for the county, placing kids in foster care, and the Halls have adopted 4 of those kids: Christian, Quincy, and the twins, Mark and Sean. Sheltering kids is a way of life for the Halls, which is why he can't understand how school shootings have become a fact of life. 3 days after the shooting, the students reclaimed the most important thing they had, Chardon High School.
Frank chasing the shooter out of the building allowed us to not say we were victims. It allowed us to fight the evil. We were not going to let that evil take over. And Frank, by his show of courage, allowed all of us to fight. They came down, arm in arm, 1,100 kids, marched right down the center of the street. And coming back into that school and take it over was our first step in our recovery.
I don't know why this happened. I only wish I could have done more. I'm not a hero. Just a football coach and a study hall teacher.
A hero in a tragedy never feels heroic. Every hug, every thank you that Frank Hall endured took him back to the boys in the cafeteria.
You know, they'll never have another birthday.
Frank, no one could ask you to do more than you did.
You know, I know, it's just hard to, you just want so bad to be able to take them home. Sometimes they get mad about it and get angry. You know, Sky, I wish you weren't here. I wish I was never on TV. I'd give anything for this not to be happening right now.
Coach Hall returned to Chardon, but he was tormented by the memories. 10 months later, when the shooting happened at Sandy Hook Elementary, he couldn't finish the day. It wasn't long after that when Hall did something that surprised and saddened many. He left Chardon High School. He had heard about some kids in the county next door who needed him more. Ashtabula County had not made the cut for best place to raise a family. 31% of the kids here live in poverty. The high school had won only 2 football games in 3 years. The head coach quit, and that's how Frank Hall made a comeback.
Green, go straight! Get it down! Go! Hey, great kick! Nice shot. Act like gentlemen, play hard, right?
Yes, sir.
He changed everything around here.
Tyree Meeks and DeMondre Haywood are on Hall's new team at Lakeside High.
He told us he's not only going to make us great football players, but he's going to make us men.
It sounds to me like with Coach Hall, it's not all about X's and O's and blocking and tackling.
Oh, no, no.
You've done a great job, from your effort on the practice field to your effort in the classroom to your respect of the school and the teachers.
When a player smarted off to one of the teachers, Hall made it a problem for everyone on the team, a reflex of character.
Each and every single last football player had to go and apologize to that teacher, just because it's that important. It's like,
Wait, the players who didn't talk back to the teacher also had to go apologize?
Yeah,
What was the point of that?
it's just based upon, like, if one of us messes up, we all mess up. It's like family, you know?
It's to show that we've changed, because, you know, last year before Coach Hall came here, the football players, they were getting in trouble all the time, and he wanted to really make sure that the teachers knew that it was a big change. And so we all went down there and apologized to her for how our brother acted towards her.
And so there was a big change on the field. They won their first game, then 2 more. This last season was building toward their final contest, an away game, back at Chardon High. It had been 8 months since Coach Hall had left.
Coach, welcome back, and thank you.
An opposing coach never gets a welcome like this. Hull didn't win the game. His old team at Chardon was better that night, 49-21. But it was the homecoming that mattered more.
Love you, buddy. How you been? How you guys doing? I'm so proud right now of each and every one of you. Serve your family. Take care of your family. Serve them. You understand me? Yes, sir. I love you.
At the end, 2 teams rallied around one coach, a regular guy of extraordinary character.
It is my honor to introduce Frank Hall, our 2015 Walter Camp American Hero. Frank, if you're not a hero, no one is.
Thank you. You know, it was truly an honor and a humbling experience to be able to come here and share my story with you and accept this award on behalf of the people of Chardon High School and Lakeside High School. And I want to start off by thanking the foundation and what they represent and how they defend this great game and take care of it and honor it. And just so humbled and blessed to be here. Most importantly, I'm very thankful they allowed my son, Christian, to come along with me. Christian, you stand up, please. I want to start off by saying this. You know, they did a great job of making me to be something I'm really not. You know, the young man last year, Daniel Rodriguez, him and his fellow soldiers, those are the ones that gave that last full measure of devotion. You know, those are heroes. I just showed up and I just went to work that day and just reacted. I remember my high school coach, Mike Hassett, telling me, if you don't know who to block, just hit somebody in an odd collar jersey. And that's basically what I did that day. And, you know, he was hurting our kids, and I just wanted to get him out. And I'm truly thankful that the good Lord put me in that place to go back and to be with Danny and Demetrius and Russell and, you know, pray with them and try to do what I can for them. You know, I wanted my life back the day before this happened. I didn't want no part of this. I didn't want 15 minutes of fame. I didn't want to be named this or that. I wanted my life back. I had a great life. And a few months after the shooting, we go to New York City, take my family to go to the Yankees game, and we visit the USS Intrepid. And aboard the USS Intrepid, there's a exhibit about kamikazes and how aboard the USS Intrepid, the worst day in its history, a kamikaze slammed into the side of it and killed 62 sailors aboard the USS Intrepid. The soldiers talked about how it was the worst day of the Intrepid in its history. And then he talked about how it was also the best day because they saved the ship. and they got back into the fight. And those young sailors didn't die in vain. About 6 months after that, Sandy Hook happened. Worst day of my life. I didn't know if I was going to make it through that night, because I know what the carnage was. The next day I got up and I realized what that message meant: to get up, to save the ship, and get back into the fight. We formed the Coach Hall Foundation with the sole purpose of putting a school resource officer in every school in America for the protection of our children. We're the greatest, richest nation in the world. It can happen. Again, I want to say God bless. I want to thank the foundation again for everything they do. And God bless and have a good night. Thank you.